and good afternoon. It is time for our regular lunch and learn. I'm getting all kinds of messages, so there we go. Today we're going to be talking about chicory. Oh my goodness, when I was doing this research for today's program, I was absolutely blown away by all the benefits that chicory affords us. Now, chicory is part of the dandelion family. So if you know anything about herbs, then you're going to know that dandelions are really, really good for liver and gallbladder issues. Well, chicory is part of this family, and every part is edible. So the leaves are edible, the petals are edible, the roots are edible. And if you're like me, you may not have known a lot about chicory. We know that some people use chicory as a coffee substitute, and that is true. If you're older, like I am, and you watch those old movies and you see the old cowboys and they're out doing their trail ride and they find a stick and they start, chewing on it. That's chicory. So you may have seen that, and that is possible. And I even looked up to see where you can get chicory outside of a coffee substitute. And believe it or not, you can get it at your major big box stores. You just have to look for it. I've never looked for it, but I can tell you one thing, I'm going to start because the benefits are absolutely amazing. Now, as I said in the title, 80% of the world's population uses plants as medicine, okay? They use plants as medicine. Here in the United States, we don't necessarily do that, but you may not know that 80% of our pharmaceuticals come from the active components in plants. Now, they used to separate the active component and put it in a standardized version. And so when you look at herbs, especially a few years back, you would see all of the herbs would say on there standardized. And people thought that was a good thing because no matter what your brand was, every brand had the same amount of the active ingredient. Well, that's not quite true. The plant is a whole organism. And so it has stuff in there to cause the plant to work other than just its active ingredient. For example, I think it's aspergina, where we get our pharmaceutical aspirin from. We know that if we take aspirin on an empty stomach, that we're going to risk getting ulcers, and we're also going to risk macular degeneration. You may not know that, but I'm telling you that that's true. So aspirin is formulated from the active ingredient in aspergina. However, aspergina also has other ingredients in there that keep the active ingredient from hurting our eyes or hurting our stomach. So this is the thing with doing plants as a whole plant and having them processed in a manner that's very, very good for us, is that we get not just the standardized portion, but we get all of the cofactors in the herb that make the herb work just that much better for us. So chicory, as I said, is a flowering plant from the dandelion family. It's got really, really pretty blue flowers. The research goes all the way back to Egypt, okay? And evidence shows that the Egyptians used this plant to boost metabolism and also to promote digestion. So if we're looking at losing weight, chicory might be something that we want to add to our repertoire of herbs and supplements, okay? The roots have been around for a long time. The roots promote wound healing. So why is this important? Because a lot of people are out there that have diabetes. What is one of the main complications of diabetes is that the body starts to have open wounds that just will not heal. I have a friend who is a nurse, and her specialty is wound care with diabetics. And so they put you with some silver solution. They put you in the hyperbaric chamber and all that kind of stuff. But if you just added chicory to your repertoire, either you can drink it as a tea, you can chew on it as a root, you can put it in stews and soups. I had no idea. And what it does is it brings wound healing to that. So that is just a huge, huge benefit for us. It says that in Lithuania, The juice of the chicory has been used as a remedy for cancer of the uterus and other tumors. Now, who knew? Who knew? I mean, we know about female cancers. We know about that, but no one's ever told me. I've never seen any research that says that drinking chicory, either in an extract or a powder or in your coffee or as a food, could destroy uterine tumors. And I think that's really, really important. In Turkey, an ointment has been made from the roots of the chicory plant, used for wound healing and also for kidney stones and also to fight cancer. So there's multiple ways to use this marvelous herb. That's why I call it just the magic herb, okay? The whole plant has been used to treat kidney disorders and diabetes in Monaco. In South America, the leaves, the stems, and the roots have been made into a tea and used to treat jaundice. Chicory syrup has been used as a tonic for infants. So even your babies can do this. The people in India use chicory for liver damage, to help protect against liver damage and to restore from liver damage. So the healing power of chicory has been harnessed in ancient cultures, but now the science is validating that. And so this is what I absolutely love. You know, from ancient days, people have used plants as medicine. Hippocrates, who is the father of Western medicine, said, let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. Unfortunately, here in the Western world, certainly here in the United States, nobody does anything about their food. They want a quick fix. They want it with a pill. They don't understand that the pills are often very synthetic and they're not going to do you any good. So we've talked about gut healthy microbe before, microbiome. We did this last week, I think, but chicory, which I did not know last week, chicory can boost the microbial diversity and abundance in the gastrointestinal tract, which can help stave off chronic and acute diseases. What is chronic disease? Diabetes, metabolic syndrome, cancer, any of the lupus, the Sjogren's, the fibromyalgia, the rheumatoid arthritis, all those things. Chicory can help with that. Who knew this? I mean, I'll tell you what, we're going to add chicory around here. It says in a 2011 study published in the Journal of Food Science and Nutrition concluded that a daily consumption of chicory for 28 days significantly increased the total fecal bacteria in elderly subjects. Now, we know from all of our clinical experience here that the elderly people have a lot of bowel issues, right? And so if they just added chicory for 1 month, a lot of their issues would be resolved. So that is just a huge, huge thing, okay? The researchers attributed the health improvements to the abundance of inulin in chicory. Inulin is a prebiotic, which means that it promotes the growth of the good bacteria in the gastrointestinal tract. Inulin or chicory root fiber are commonly added to probiotics to feed them. Okay, so ours doesn't have that. Ours is 100% pure. It does have some prebiotic in there, and then we've got a lot of different products, but none of them, as far as I know, have chicory in there. Yogurt also, some people add chicory to their yogurt to boost the beneficial bacteria in that. Didn't know about that. Because chicory root is a rich source of inulin, it balances the microbiome, and everybody has improved health and well-being. In 2017, so this is just a few years ago, the study in the International Journal of Food and Science and Nutrition, I think that's the same journal that we looked at, said that consumption of chicory-derived insulin for 4 weeks resulted in a significant increase in stool frequency among constipated adults. So if you are constipated, and we see that all the time, then you might want to add chicory, and that's only, didn't say how long. Okay, 4 weeks, so 28 days, 1 month. And also 2011, they found that the elderly had much better digestion and far less constipation. So that's just amazing. The inulin helps the gut produce short-chain fatty acids. Short chain fatty acids are the magic that makes you want to go to the bathroom. All right. Chicory has been reported to kill breast cancer cells. Who knew this? Okay. According to a study published in 2011, molecular and cellular pharmacology. Chicory extract not only stopped the growth of prostate, colorectal, and breast cancer cells in the petri dish, it also induced cancer cell death. Chicory is also demonstrated to have a cryotoxic effect on leukemia and melanoma. How many people do you know that have leukemia? Lots. How many people do we know that have melanoma? Lots. How many people do we know with breast and prostate cancer? A lot. Why aren't the doctors telling us about these studies that just adding chicory to the diet induces cancer cell death? I think that's amazing. Chicory also has been shown to suppress the oxidative degradation of DNA, right? And that was published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology in 1995. So that's been around for just a minute. It prevents and helps manage diabetes. Oh my gosh, how frequent is diabetes? I mean, it's everywhere. So in a study published in 2015, it's been a minute, the Journal of Traditional and Complementary Medicine concluded that chicory root extract could delay or prevent early onset of diabetes type 2. After consuming chicory root extract daily for 4 weeks, hemoglobin A1C significantly decreased, which indicated improvement in regulation of blood sugar levels. So I'm just going to pause here. Your A1C is your average glucose over 90 days. That is the determining factor of whether you have diabetes or not. Your A1C, go grab your blood work, your A1C should be 5.7 or below. If you're above that, you're either pre-diabetic or you are diabetic, depending on how far above that. Just taking chicory root powder for 4 weeks lowered the A1C significantly. Now, I'm not sure what significant means, but I would imagine that would mean it goes from pre-diabetic to nothing, or maybe it goes from diabetic to pre-diabetic. We know here in the clinic that we've worked with people with A1Cs in the double digits, like 11 and 12 and that kind of thing. And we've seen them reduce down to normal levels. It does take work. It does take dietary changes. However, if we just add chicory, we may be really, really surprised at what's going on there. In a 2016 study, it concluded that supplementation with chicory for 2 months, regulated reduced levels of fasting blood glucose and hemoglobin A1C, as well as a reduction in high blood pressure among women with type 2 diabetes. That is absolutely fantastic. Furthermore, supplementation with chicory seed reportedly ameliorates the disease progression in type 2 diabetes. This was a study, phytotherapy research in 2020, so that's really recent. Hemoglobin A1C, inflammation, oxidative stress, and hypotriglycerides were reduced following 12 weeks of supplementation. Now, we know it takes 90 days for the body to turn around, so that really coincides with the research that we know. It helps manage osteoarthritis. How many older people do you know that have joint pain and have osteoarthritis? According to a study in the BMC musculoskeletal disorders in 2010, chicory root has a potential role in the management of osteoarthritis. After consuming chicory root for 1 month, patients reported improvement in their pain and their stiffness. It prevents and reverses chronic disease, chronic autoimmune disease. So, girlfriend, If you're out there listening and you've got a chronic disease or chronic diseases running your family, this is absolute magic here. And a study published in 2014 demonstrated that chicory root possessed anti-inflammatory activity by inhibiting the inflammatory cytokines, boosting antioxidant potential, and acting as a free radical scavenger. Now, if you've been watching our Facebook posts, you know that we're all about this free radical scavenging. Why is that? Because the free radicals are what ages you and what makes you not well on the inside. And so if we can reverse that, and we've got a lot of products here that we can do that, but chicory root is really, really good on that. It says the possible mechanism of the anti-inflammatory property of chicory could be its rich source of polyphenols, which are compounds found in plants that reduce inflammation. Since inflammation is associated with the development of autoimmune disease and chronic disease, the ability of chicory to reduce inflammation could play a role in the prevention and reversal. Now, I just absolutely love that, because one of my core values, one of my beliefs is that your body is really smart. And if you give your body what you need, then your body knows what to do with that substance, and your body knows how to reverse that disease. I do not believe that what the doctor says is that you have this and you'll have this for the rest of your life. I do not believe that. What I interpret that when the doctor says that, the doctor's saying, I don't have any medication that's going to help you. You're going to have this for the rest of your life. We know that God gave us plants to make us well. And so if you have an autoimmune disease and you want to add chicory coffee, what an easy thing to do. Or you can buy the chicory. It comes in a pouch like a snack, and just chew on it. And it'll get that chicory into your digestive system. From there, the body knows what to do with it. The body knows where to send it. And within 2 months, girlfriend, it can be better for you. So that is absolutely phenomenal. In a study published in the International Journal of Preventive Medicine, it reported that chicory root protect mice against acute pancreatitis, which is an inflammatory condition of the pancreas. And we know that pancreatitis is a precancerous condition in a lot of cases. And so how easy is that just to have some chicory every day? And a study published in Phytotherapy Research concluded that chicory had antithrombotic and anti-inflammatory effects after subjects consumed chicory coffee every day for 1 week. 1 week. What is antithrombotic? That means blood clots. How many of us are hearing about blood clots, myocarditis? I probably just said it right. But it's inflammation of the heart, blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, all these kind of things, which are much more prevalent now since 2020. They're much more prevalent, so just read between the lines here. And this chicory root is antithrombotic, so it's going to stop you from throwing blood clots. 1 week, and you get this kind of significant improvement. It says significant improvements were seen in red blood cell deformability, which is an indication of how well the body responds to inflammation. The researchers conclude that, again, it is the polyphenols that are contained in chicory that are responsible for heart health benefits. For instance, chicory is a rich source of caffeic acid, which is a polyphenol that inhibits platelet aggregation. What is platelet? I can't talk right now. Platelet aggregation. In your blood, you've got white blood cells, you've got red blood cells, you've got platelets. When platelets aggregate, they stick together and they form microclots. That's where you get blockage in the heart and that kind of thing. So it inhibits platelet aggregation. If you have high blood pressure, you probably have platelet aggregation. And so if you use chicory, you might find that you're just in a whole different level. Chicory supplementation can improve liver function. In a study based on a randomized control trial was published in 2016 in Primary Care Diabetes, which reported improvement in the liver function, including the AST and ALP, following 2 months of supplementation with chicory in patients who had type 2 diabetes. Now, if you're looking at your blood work, you're going to see that you've got your liver enzymes there. And so chicory brings your liver enzymes. So if you've had a history of chronic alcohol abuse or chronic drug abuse, or even not even abuse, you're just taking drugs, and so you've got that toxicity in the liver. If you take chicory, that helps clean that out. And I just think this is just magic. As we said earlier, chicory has a wound healing ability, and this was published in a study of ethnopharmacology. And it says that chicory contains a, quote, potent wound healing activity, and it is attributed the findings to the methanolic extract of chicory's roots. Chicory has great potential against parasites, according to a 2021 story, 2021 article published in the journal Molecule. So we've got a lot of scientific research here, and so everybody likes to say follow the science, so we're definitely following the science here. This Molecules says in Afghanistan, chicory root is used as an ancient plant remedy to fight malaria, which is caused by a parasite. If you have malaria, your medical doctor won't tell you this, but holistic people believe this. Now, I'm not sure where the science comes on this one, but they say that all leukemia goes back to the malaria as a root, right? So if malaria is caused by a parasite, you kill the parasite, you get rid of malaria, you're not going to have leukemia. So this is just all awesome here. So in Afghanistan, the chicory root extract is used to fight malaria. Science has now confirmed the presence of anti-malarial components in chicory root, so that's a good thing. It fights bacterial infections. How many of us have had strep throat? How many of us have had staph infections? How many of us have had candida? How many of us have had E. coli? Probably all of us at one time or another, right? This chicory fights all of those. So it contains compounds with antibacterial activity, such as, I can't say these words, oxalic acid, shikimic acid, and quinic acid, okay? These acids reportedly fight bacteria, including strep mutations, by decreasing the biofilm formation and adhesions of bacteria to the cells, according to an article published in the Journal for Complementary and Alternative Medicine. This also follows a Arabian journal. I love this. These are all the different countries in the world. So it's not just me saying this. This is all the countries in the world, just all over the place. The Arabian Journal of Chemistry, again, follow the science, concluded that chicory seed extract contained antimicrobial activity against 4 pathogenic microorganisms: staph, Pseudomonas, we've seen a lot of Pseudomonas here, E. coli, and Candida albicans. So that's amazing. It fights fungal infections. All right. In the journal Micropathologia, must be an Italian journal, I would think, chicory root contains antifungal properties against organisms that are responsible for most fungal skin infections. It fights viral infections. It contains compounds that have antiviral properties. In fact, chicory has been identified in an article in the RSC Advances as a potential therapeutic agent against the current pandemic. So I have to be careful on my words. I don't know if you're aware, but YouTube has taken down 6 of my videos in the last week. Don't ask me why, because everything that I say is backed up by scientific journals of one kind or another. So I have to be real careful of what I say, because I don't want them to take down any more of my stuff. How can you add chicory to your diet? This is where the magic meets the road, okay? Chicory can be foraged, so you go find it in many areas of North America, Asia, and Europe. Chicory in its whole form is not usually found in the grocery stores, but the whole plant is edible. The root is consumed as a coffee substitute, as a vegetable, for its inulin extraction on an industrial scale. So we need to figure that out. Chicory leaves are consumed fresh, like a salad, okay? Or you can cook them, you can saute them. And the flowers can be consumed fresh or cooked as well. I mean, just kind of freak your people out when you take a salad to the next gathering that you have, and you have chicory petals in there. They're beautiful. They're blue, kind of a lavender. They're just real, real pretty. So you can make a cup of chicory coffee. All right, this is how you do that. You take 1 tablespoon of roasted chicory root granules. You do 1/2 cup of filtered water, 1/2 cup of milk. Okay, they want you to do it from grass-fed cows. 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, and 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, 1 teaspoon of gelatin from grass-fed cows, and 1 teaspoon of local honey. You can sprinkle cardamom or cinnamon for a spicy flavor. So you put this in a stainless steel ball. You place the ball in your coffee mug. You pour the hot water over it, and then you put some warm milk in it, and you just let it steep for a few minutes. You add the other things, you stir, and you enjoy. Don't know if that appeals to you. I kind of like my coffee black, so I don't know that I would like that. However, I think that was the original cafe au lait. That was the original term in Turkey, I think. Okay, how can we eat chicory? So you could take chicory roots and boil it as a side dish. So you boil it and you serve with an herbal sauce, or you drizzle with butter or avocado oil. You can add the roots to soups or stews. You can add the chicory leaves to your sandwich instead of like lettuce or spring mix or something like that. You can do that also in your salads. You can saute them, as I said. Now, this is what I love with my greens. I will put them in my food processor and just pulverize them, or I will, spend the time to slice them with a knife. Probably not. I'm going to put them in my food processor. And then when I am sauteing the other vegetables, I just sprinkle those greens in there. It makes the vegetables a beautiful color. You don't have that bitter taste that sometimes when you boil your greens and that kind of thing, you can get that bitterness. So you don't have that bitterness when you saute them. They're absolutely beautiful. They're beautiful on the plate. They're so easy to do, and that's the way that I like to do it. Or you can do the chicory in the coffee and the water, make a decoction. This article came from Dr. Senna McCullough. We've looked at her stuff before. I think she's absolutely brilliant. She's healed her own self of autoimmune diseases. And so if you want a good read, look up anything by her. I love her work, and I am just thrilled about chicory. And I'm going to start recommending it for all of my diabetes people. I'm going to start recommending it for all of my high blood pressure people. And we're going to just do a little self-study and see what we get, okay? It is the weekend. Here in the United States, it is Memorial Day weekend. And so we're very, very grateful for the sacrifice of those that have gone on before us and that have fought for our freedom. We love our freedom. As you commemorate this weekend, be mindful that freedom is not free, and somebody had to pay for us to have the freedom that we have. Enjoy your weekend. Take good care of yourself. Do some self-care. Enjoy your family. You never know the last day that you'll be able to see them. So just take care of yourself. I love you, and I will see you next week.